What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for yet another Tottenham update. Just a few bits and pieces to go through today, and we're going to start off talking about Todd Kline, who has left Spurs today. Matt Law says that Todd Kline has resigned as the Chief Commercial Officer at Tottenham Hotspur and now has been placed on gardening leave. Kline leaves the club with Spurs still yet to secure a naming rights deal for the stadium. Then Fabrizio Romano said that he understands that Todd Kline is set to join Chelsea in the next month after leaving Tottenham's role as Chief Commercial Chief Officer. He's been placed on gardening leave as reported by Matt Law and has told he will join Chelsea right after the agreement is almost done with Chelsea. Mike Keegan from the Daily Mail says that Todd Kline's time at Spurs saw substantial turnover with his department, with many long-serving and well-liked members of staff leaving the club. With the stadium still without a sponsor, it has appeared for some time that the writing was on the wall. However, he will now cross the capital to Spurs' rivals and link up with the American leadership team at Chelsea under Todd Boehly. While the move has come as a surprise, a few at Tottenham are likely to lose any sleep over the switch, according to insiders. The tenure of Kline, who was also club director, has been turbulent. Under his watch, long-serving commercial director Fran Jones left to join Brentford, in which was viewed as a huge loss. Insiders described the level of turnover in Kline's department as astonishing. Some are known to have departed without other jobs to go to. Kline's time at the club also saw the loss of proposed and highly controversial £42.5 million deal with South Africa's following intervention from the country's Parliament tourism chair. Tottenham are thought to have been seeking $25 million a year for the stadium deal, and their search will now continue without Kline. Staff were informed that he had resigned this morning and had placed on a period of gardening leave. While that period is set to be completed, he will join Chelsea. So Todd Kline coming and going.
Sorely missed.
Yeah,
it just doesn't sound like we're going to miss him that much. Look, obviously, I'm not in the inner workings of Tottenham. I don't know what a good or bad job he has done. I don't know how difficult his job is to do. All I know is Chelsea's recruitment has been terrible over the last 18 months or so. So maybe it says a lot that they're getting him in. Good luck to him. Hopefully Spurs get someone who can actually come in and do the job and get those naming rights deal. 25 million sounds like a lot compared to, I think, a lot of other naming rights deals, but you got to consider as well, obviously Tottenham are growing in stature as a club at the moment, 60,000 fans every week, and as well you get these big concerts as well that you've got your name on, so that's also going to be very, very valuable to any potential naming rights partners. So I think it's probably right that Daniel Levy waits to get the best deal instead of signing one up. He couldn't get it over the line. It doesn't sound like he was a good influence in the background. I was going to say dressing room, but not dressing room, but it doesn't sound like he was a good influence in the higher echelons of the club. So doesn't sound like something I should be bothered about.
Yeah, I'm not too bothered either. But like, if you're coming in, your number one objective is to get naming rights for the stadium deal, and that was supposed to be his expertise, and that hasn't been fulfilled, then I don't think, like Mike Keegan says, we're going to lose too much sleep over it. But I think,
how long was he actually there for?
Not too long.
Yeah, because I can't remember. Was it the summer?
A year and a half, maybe. Yeah. But he has delivered like deals like the F1 deal that has come with the track underneath the stadium. And I do remember when that South African deal did get announced, there was a lot of controversy around it, wasn't it? And then obviously that got put to bed pretty quickly and that was cancelled. But I think since he has joined and he's left, there has been a lot of commercial deals to come through the club.
So maybe he does know what he's doing.
I think it's good and bad, isn't it?
But the question is he leaving because Chelsea have come in for him and he thought would go there, or was he leaving because we're not that happy about him? With him, I don't know.
I don't know. I would imagine like if we weren't that happy with him, we would have sacked him rather otherwise than him resigning.
Yeah, but maybe it's a case of like
him being pushed out a little bit.
not pushed out. Like there's like Chelsea have kind of made a bit of an approach and we're like, yeah, just go. We don't really want you, kind of thing. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? But we're not. Well, I'm not a financial person, so I can't really tell you the inner workings of what Todd Kline did for Spurs. I can just say what I've seen in the press and everything like that, and the deals that have come in. So it does seem like there has been good and bad. But from my understanding, his number one job was to get a stadium naming rights deal, and that hasn't happened. But let's talk about things that we can comment on, and that is football. And Paul O'Keefe says that Barcelona attacker Raphinha is among those who interest Tottenham Hotspur ahead of the next transfer window, and Pedro Neto is also on the Spurs shortlist of targets for the upcoming summer window alongside Raphinha. And these two names are two names that very much excite me. Raphinha is one that I wanted in the summer when he went to Barcelona. Top quality player, in my opinion. 27 years of age, so he's no spring chicken anymore. Hasn't really hit the ground running at Barcelona. I think that it's probably not gone as much as according to a plan that maybe some people would have thought, but I would still very much take him at Spurs. And on Pedro Neto, look, this guy's a top quality player, but it's always the injury problems that are going to make me a bit apprehensive about him.
I love Pedro Neto. I think if you're looking at those two players in terms of purely footballers and in terms of their profile, who's better fit for Tottenham, 100% think it's Pedro Neto. Even though Raphinha has a bit more quality when it comes to his ability, maybe in the final third, like his shooting ability, that kind of stuff. He's maybe a bit better quality, but I think Neto's, what I think really separates Neto apart from someone like Raphinha is his ability to play on both wings equally as well. And I do think he's actually better at running at players than Raphinha is as well. And I think maybe his decision making might be a bit better in the final third. So I love Neto. I think he'll be perfect for Tottenham. What is very encouraging about that kind of news is potentially that means are we planning for a big summer move for a winger, are we setting aside a large pot of money for a winger? Those two names suggest to me that we're willing to commit quite a large amount of our budget to a winger who's able to dribble and fit the system, and that's really, really good and encouraging because that's exactly what we need in this squad. In terms of Pedro Neto's injuries, yeah, look, he's had 2 serious injuries. There's no getting away from that. And even this season, he missed a month due to, I think it was a hamstring injury as well. So that is something that has plagued him. However, what I would say, he is still young. He's still 23. Some players do have these problems earlier in their career and they can get over them. And what I like about Neto is there are some players, right, who get injured and then when they come back from injury, they don't look the same player.
He seems to be getting better and better.
Exactly, that's my point. Like he seems to have definitely hit the ground running back from his injury. He doesn't seem to let that injury affect his gameplay, and he seems to keep improving as a player, even though these injuries have held him back. He seems to still be playing at the top of his game. If anything, he's probably better than he ever has been. So the question mark is if he comes in, he can pass the medical, and we believe we can keep him fit. I'm all for bringing Pedro Neto in because I think he's an astonishing winger. I think he'd fit in right in at Tottenham. I think he'd be the perfect guy. Premier League experience as well. But he's young as well, still 23. So I'd love that deal to go through. If there's an option for someone else who's maybe less injury prone but can be just as effective, then I'll look at that. But I think Neto would be an incredibly good option for me.
Look, I agree with you. I love Pedro Neto as a footballer. As just an out-and-out footballer, he is absolute class, and I think he's well above the level at Wolves or where he's currently at, But it always comes back to those injury problems for me, and he just can't seem to stay fit for any prolonged amount of time. And we've got players like Giovanni Lo Celso, and we've had players in the past that that have been good players but have just never been able to stay fit. And if he can put those injury problems behind him, then I'll be all for signing him. But I don't know. It just makes me very apprehensive to bring him in because of these injury problems, and we won't know if he's going to get over them unless we sign him. And because this summer is probably, we need him this summer pretty much, so we don't know. And let's say he gets another big injury from now to the end of the season, will you still be that much on signing him?
If he gets a big injury and he's out for a year, I'm not going to obviously commit big money to him, but it depends how much they want him for. They want to sell him for. Obviously, if they're looking for 70, 80 million, which is probably what his quality is worth, then I think it's probably too much a risk. But if they're willing to take 45, 50 million, that could potentially be worth it. That could be worth the risk.
Regardless of the money, we need someone that can come in and that can play the majority amount of games, like regardless of the money, because we need fit and firing players that can help us go on and achieve our goals next season. And if Pedro Neto comes in, and plays amazingly for 5-10 games and then gets an injury for 3-4 months or 2 months or 1 month, you know what I mean? Is it worth it?
No, not for if he gets in, but obviously we have to bank on the fact we can keep him fit. If we don't believe we can keep him fit, yeah, it depends. If he comes in and has a medical and he passes a medical, because the reason you have a medical is you determine whether this guy is going to get injured. Yeah, but then he got 2 serious injuries. He didn't have those injuries before Wolves. They happened at Wolves. He got an ACL, and then I think he ruptured. Then he got a really serious ankle injury. Players pick up injuries. It happens. Like some players get over it. Some players it plagues him the whole career. He's still very young. He's got his whole career ahead of him. It might be just something that happened in his earlier career, and he can get over those. He can go over those injuries. It's not necessarily just because you've had a few injuries early in your career, you're destined to be continuously injury prone for the rest of your career. I don't know. Maybe he is. And maybe it would be a waste of money. But if we can bring him in, and if he passes the medical, and we believe this guy doesn't have problems with him that's going to keep him injured, then why not? Why not do it?
He's joined Wolves 2019, and he's just missed so much football since then. So much football.
We had an ACL.
Yeah, even before the ACL, he was missing. Nowhere near as much, but calf injuries, muscle injuries.
All players get injuries.
Ankle injuries, hamstring injuries. I mean, this is a lot of football he's missed. A lot. Did he even play last season, or was he injured for the whole season?
Well, he came back near the end, I think.
Yeah.
He missed a lot last season.
Like, if it wasn't for these injuries and these injury problems, like, I would want him as #1 target. That's how good he is. But these injuries are just a massive problem, man. A massive problem. And you kind of want to see him play one more season before you can commit to it, just to see if he can go a whole season with maybe minor injuries and not miss too much football. I kind of feel like if you're going to go for him this summer, it just might be too much of a risk.
Again, depends on what our medical staff say.
Yeah.
It's going to depend
on the track record of our medical staff. That is the Pedro Neto Raphinha thing. But let us know in the comment section below. Do you think the Pedro Neto injury stuff is a big risk to go and sign him? Would you prefer to get a Raphinha in? The thing about Neto as well, he can play both sides. That's what I really like about him. Versatile. He would fit the squad so well. It's just the injury stuff which is a major concern. But let's finish off talking about Lucas Bergvall. We didn't cover his announcement over the weekend, so let's have a look at how Spurs announced the deal. It was on his birthday, so it was a very nice touch the way Spurs did it in front of a birthday cake.
Love that. Absolutely. I want that birthday cake. Looks good as well.
Yeah, give us some of that.
I do want a bit of that. And then obviously, so that was a teaser one. They just showed a birthday cake, and everyone knew what was coming. There he is in all his glory.
There we go.
There you go. Lovely.
And then they did the announcement with on his 18th birthday. We're delighted to announce that we've reached an agreement with Lucas Bergvall to announce from the club's Swedish Allsvenskan side Djurgården, and then. That was just the classic Spurs announcement video, isn't it? They do this for every player now.
Yeah, in their media room, where they do these fancy edits. It does look very good, I have to say.
It looks good, but it's literally the same thing for every player. It's not very original.
It seems that they've got this. They've invested a lot of money in this media room. They made a lot of the announcements, and they got to use it.
Yeah, I guess.
It looks nice though.
And then it was Lucas signed, sealed, and delivered. Looks great in his Spurs shirt, doesn't he?
He does. It really suits him in that white Spurs shirt, 100%.
And then Lucas in lily white. They really did milk this one that night, to be fair. And then this was a really nice video of him meeting Ange, going to meet him in his medical, it looked like.
Yeah, I love this because it was great. They were having a little chit-chat conversation, and then Ange is saying, we're going to look after him and stuff. I don't know if you can hear it. I think they can hear it in the... And then at the end, he
goes 3 points.
Yeah, 3 points. I love that. Absolutely love that. Already on the train.
and then there was a royal welcome. Emerson Royale went to greet him and his family as well, which was really nice.
Nice touch. Does see it look based on from what we're seeing at the moment? Obviously, you can't go on too much, but you've seen us sign youngsters before. Obviously, how much are we signing for? 9 million euros or something.
I think it's.
But we've seen Spurs sign youngsters before with not as much fanfare as this. So is this an indication that maybe he is going to be part of the first team next season?
Yeah, I think he will be. To be honest, at 18 years of age, one more year now in the Swedish league, or half a year, let's say, in the Swedish league. I think he comes in to be a part of the first team squad. But they said the same about Ashley Phillips as well, but he didn't play a minute, and then he's gone on loan to Plymouth. So I guess it might be a case of judging him over pre-season and just see how good he is and see if he can mix it with the first team squad at the minute.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how if he's ready or not, because he has only played in Sweden, so Premier League and Champions League potentially, or whatever European competition we are in next season, is going to be a bit of a step up. But it'll be he looks an unbelievable talent, and sometimes if you're good enough, then you're just if you're good enough, doesn't matter what age you are.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm very excited for this transfer. I didn't really know too much about him before we were linked with him, but since we've been linked with him, I've looked into him a lot, and the attributes he does have is going to fit this squad really well. I think he's going to be a star in Ange Ball, maybe not next season, but definitely in the future years to come. But if he can hit the ground running next year, we've said it before, like surely it lessens the need to bring in another midfielder. Definitely. Unless we need to bring in a classic number 6.
Definitely. You got him, you got potentially Divine as well coming through. And obviously we've got chock-a-block of talent right now in midfield, where we're even looking to get rid of Højbjerg and maybe it hasn't been much talk of it, but maybe even Skip might be leaving as well. So I think we're in a very good place for our midfield right now.
And there's been quotes coming out from him talking about his decision, a very hard decision of him to choose between Tottenham and Barcelona. The Ange pull, the Tottenham pull is really real, man. I don't remember a window ever, or I don't remember it ever happening that, a player in Timo Werner rejected Manchester United to come to Tottenham. Radu Dragusin has rejected a super club in Bayern Munich to come to Tottenham. And now this Lucas Bergvall has rejected Barcelona to come to Tottenham. Does that just show you the changing of the stature of Tottenham in the game?
Yeah, I guess you can look at it two ways. Do these players see Tottenham as a stepping stone to bigger things, or are they literally coming to Spurs because they believe it's the best step for their career right now, and maybe it's where they're going to get more game time, whether it's the club where they're at the moment, the start of a project where we're playing good football. There's a lot of young players you can see in the team getting opportunities and getting chances as well. So maybe they see that. But then you could also look at Barca and say, look, we've got Gavi, Pedri, Lamal. Like they're also got young players getting opportunities. So why wouldn't they look at that and think, I can go to a super big club like Barca and get those opportunities? But maybe there is as well the growing stature of Tottenham on the global stage. Maybe we are able to compete with a lot of these clubs for a lot of these young players because of how big the club has grown in terms of just the stature of the club.
It's really interesting, isn't it? And I'm definitely liking the way in the direction Spurs are going in. But in terms of him talking about how hard it was, he said after the decision was made, it felt better in the stomach. They are both incredible clubs. It was a very difficult choice. It was 50-50 for a long time, but it felt like the next step for me was Tottenham. It was not very easy to say no to Barcelona. It took a very long time to decide. It's been a lot in the head, a lot in general, but it's nice to come here and land a little. And then he was talking as well about Dejan Kulusevski and his role. And he said on the conversations with Dejan Kulusevski, it wasn't a persuasive talk. He just said the club was great, and I noticed that when I got here. He talked a little before in general how the club works, how they work, how they train, what the days look like. I got an incredible reception. It's a very family club, but incredible people. So very high words there for Tottenham already.
Yeah, and it's first of all, fantastic that Decky was able to put a good word in for Spurs, Decky, exactly, and got help get it over the line. But yeah, it's very interesting what he's talking about the Barca thing. He said 50-50 for a while. He was toing and froing. So we've done a great job to convince him that this is the best place for him because the Barca pull is very, very strong. A lot of players would look at Barcelona and think, when that kind of team comes in for you, you can't say no. But somehow Spurs have convinced him that this is the best place for him right now.
Yeah, and Ali Gold was talking as well, and he said, people within Tottenham feel like Lucas Bergvall is going to be an absolute star of the future, which is interesting, isn't it? Because he hasn't had that much football. Obviously, he's 18 years of age. I think this is his first season of first team football. And to make such a kind of reputation for yourself so early on is crazy.
Yeah, and he shows how well he's doing and what he's showing on the full pitch. And look, when Barca are in for you, You know that you're a serious talent. They've got one of the best academies. They're always continually producing unbelievable talent. When you're a young player and they're coming in for you strong like they have been, I think that just goes to show what a talent that has been recognised by everyone. So I think it's a major coup to have got him in, and let's hope he just grows into the star we're hoping he does.
Yeah, let's hope he reaches the Emerson Royale heights from Barcelona. And another one of Giovanni Dos Santos. Let's hope it goes the other way to those two players. But that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts regarding all the news topics we've talked about today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always,
come on, you Spurs.